Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, Lonzo Ball is tearing up the Summer League, but it's his shoes that are drawing all the attention. Plus, Tim Tebow hit a walk-off home run on Thursday. It's a time for Shannon to finally give him some credit. Also, Mayweather and McGregor's pre-fight hype continues escalating, but have they taken it too far? Skip, Shannon, let's debate. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's start with Conor and Floyd. Day 3 of their world tour took place last night in Brooklyn. McGregor entered the arena with a white polar bear mink coat, and Mayweather came to the stage with the Irish flag draped around his neck. Let's take a listen to Conor and Floyd last night.
Yo! Yo! DJ! Turn the music on for the stripper.
Ones.
That's all you worth.
There's the real money out. A lot of media seem to be saying I'm against black people. That's absolutely ridiculous. Do they not know I'm half black? Yeah. I'm half black from the belly button down. And just to show that that's squashed, here's a little present for my beautiful black female fans.
He kept talking about a gentleman's club. He kept talking about females and girls. And yesterday, my daughter and mother, she's here supporting me. He got in her face yesterday and said some disrespectful things. I would never disrespect his child or his wife. It's certain limits and boundaries that we don't cross. So, you know, I would never get in his wife's face. You know, she's the mother of my daughter. She's a beautiful lady. She's a great mom. She's a great person. Leave it between the two competitors. That's what it's about.
Shannon, who won round 3 last night?
Well, Floyd really didn't have to say anything, and he had already won because, again, Conor McGregor stepped over the line. And the thing is, people think, and let me take it from a man's perspective. A lot of time, men, we do not want to apologize because it will make us seem weak and vulnerable. But being apologetic doesn't make you weaker, doesn't make you the weaker man. Being apologetic makes you the bigger man. It's okay to say, I'm wrong. I stepped over the line. Skip, the thing is, okay, Conor said what he said. Instead of saying, I apologize for offending you, he comes out and says, I'm half black. Skip, if I make a racist or deem something, if I say something derogatory about the Asian community, I'm not going to come out and say, well, you know what, guys, I'm part Chinese because I'm good at table tennis. What kind of bull jive is that, Skip? An apology is supposed to be sincere. Apology should not be made in a joking manner. You apologize and you move on. But Floyd Mayweather, Skip, you remember in 2010 when he said something derogatory about Manny Pacquiao? He says, I'm going to smoke this little yellow you-know-what, and after I beat him, I'm going to make a sushi roll. 2 days later, he apologized because he knew he went over the line. He knew he had gone too far. You can trash talk, but let's keep it in between, keep it in bounds. And this is disrespectful because, and I saw it yesterday after the press conference, he was talking to, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, has the guy, or maybe the other guy.
No, it's Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
This is two days ago.
Yeah, and got back, he's backstage, and he was asking about, okay, what Rocky movie? And when he's talking about the movie when Rocky goes into the gym where Apollo Creed used to train. And his buddy hollers across, the one with the monkeys. Oh yeah, the dancing monkeys. You see, what you fail to realize, Skip, if he'll say this publicly, what will he say privately? And I want people to stop adding me and stop saying, you need to toughen up. No, if I tell you something has offended me, if I tell you something I deem something a racist, don't tell me I need to toughen up. Just apologize and please don't let it happen again. Just because, well, he said this to Nate Diaz. He said, I don't care who he said it to. You think because he said it on more than one occasion, you think if you say something repetitively, it's okay, it's acceptable. No, that's not how it works. So I wish Conor McGregor would be a bigger person and apologize and keep it in bounds. If you want to talk about his taxes, fine, have at it. If you want to talk about how he fights and he runs, he doesn't fight, have at it. But when you start talking about monkeys and you start talking about the connotation in which he did, that's totally unacceptable. Now, let me get to this. He won it. Floyd Mayweather won 10-8 because when he dropped that track, remind me back in my days, because I used to make it rain. Woo! In the Shake Club, okay. I didn't make it rain. It was like a hailstorm because I wasn't throwing up a quarters and dimes. I ain't have no bread like that, Joy. You know what I'm saying? But we had a good old time, Skip. You see, hey, Haley, drop that track. You know, DJ, drop that track for the stripper. He come out there with his shirt all off, had a mink coat. Peter should have been there protesting him. Some polar bear had to die for that coat. But Floyd threw them ones up on him. Oh, that's all you got? That's all you got, ones? That's all you worth, B. You know what that B stand for. Took him to a standing 8 count. Had him hyped. And you know why I know how Conor know he lost? Because in Toronto, he had the mic for like 30 minutes. In Brooklyn, he only had it for about 5 or 6 because they wasn't feeling him because they know he had gone too far. It's like, we like you, but you done stepped over the line. So we finna show a little love to Floyd. And that's what's going to happen on August 26th in the T-Mobile. You and I will be there. And I can't wait to see the look on your face. Yeah. I don't know what happened. The 41-year-old beat a young 29. Toe him up!
41?
Gonna be 41.
Is that
ain't nothing,
real? He's 41?
Ain't nothing like an old man beating a young man, dusting his junkie you-know-what off.
For one day, I'm going to have to stay very serious here.
Okay.
Because you went from serious to pre-fight hype talk. Okay. I said at the end of Tuesday's show that I did fear for both of these guys because they were going to have to do this 4 straight days in 4 straight international cities. And I know how hard it is on our little show when we have to travel. We don't get to fly private, not often, every once in a while, but how hard it is to fly commercial for us and then have to do another show the next morning in Oakland or wherever we're going, Cleveland or wherever.
Yeah, correct.
And these guys clearly are running out of material. Last night they were both running out of material because it's just getting a little old after a while. It's getting too staged. The first night was great. The second night was pretty good. Yeah. And this one just lost me. It just lost me right away. And at the end of the night, I tweeted that Floyd won by default because Conor McGregor's behavior for me, even for me, big Conor fan, was so over the line disgusting. It was so not funny. It was just so very wrong that I said, that's it. You just managed to do the impossible. You just turned Floyd Mayweather Jr. into a sympathetic figure in Brooklyn, which felt like early on was going to be once again Conor's house. Right. Right?
Correct.
Not that there weren't a good number of Mayweather fans there last night. I couldn't count. You can't see it on TV exactly. But I thought Floyd got a little more support than he obviously got in Toronto or even Los Angeles. But then I slept on it. And I realized that I was so stunned by and fixated on Conor's behavior or misbehavior that I lost focus. I didn't focus hard enough on what Floyd did thereafter. And now that I have done that, I'm going to call it a draw because I'm going to disqualify both fighters for what they did last night. Now, let me explain. Okay. Well, let's go back to the racist claims and racist behavior. First of all, I want to disqualify myself here because I'm not sure we can apply racial sensitivity to pre-fight boxing hype. Right. Like it's just so over the top, over the line, out of bounds that I don't want us to fall into the trap. Right. Because this is an age-old trap of promoting the racist foreigner against the African-American undefeated fighter Floyd Mayweather Jr. it's such a great hype trap because it's just another psychological layer to help sell more pay-per-view buys. Is that fair? I don't know, because I don't know. After a while, it's hard for me to discern whether Conor McGregor is truly racist or this is just quote-unquote racist shtick that he's doing. He's just pushing farther and farther to sell more and more pay-per-views.
Yes.
It's possible. I don't know that. I just throw it out as a possibility.
But to a certain degree, Skip, anytime you have a white against a black, lines will be drawn eventually. That's
Absolutely.
Just the way it is.
Just the way it is. I agree. So afterward, once again, Conor tried to reiterate that I'm not racist. It's ridiculous to call me racist. That, what are his quotes? You know, I'm trying to find his quotes here. Anyway, he just went on saying, I'm multicultural and I don't see color. This is what he said afterward, trying to be, quote unquote, rational about it. But what he did, because he said it was so ridiculous, he tried to, in his words, mock it or make fun of the racist claims.
Right.
With that, the half-black joke, quote unquote joke, or the I have a little gift for my black female fans joke, it's just not funny.
No.
He went from clever to crude, like disgustingly crude, like lowest common denominator crude, right?
Right.
And in one, like one little sequence of about a minute there, he turned himself from folk hero, I think he was becoming a folk hero, into vile villain. And again, it's hard to make Floyd a sympathetic figure, but he did. Now, I'm with you. At that moment, it was like, well, that game's over.
Right.
You lost that one right there, right?
Especially given Floyd's history when he said some racist things about Manny Pacquiao and his history as an abuser. So it's really, you got to go really far, Skip, to push him to the front.
But he did it. He managed to do it just like that. Boom, boom. And I was just rocked by it.
Right.
I just sat back and said, what are you thinking? You're not thinking. So again, you reach and you reach because it's the third night out of four.
Right.
Okay, now, Floyd's turn. Okay, just for the record, he comes out draped. Was it the same flag that he quote unquote borrowed the other night? I don't know if and then he asked I assume it was an Irish fan, can I keep the flag?
Right.
But he comes out draped in the Irish flag, the flag of Ireland. And then he throws it on the floor. Now, let me ask you, let's be fair here. If Conor McGregor had come out in the Stars and Stripes and thrown it on the floor, what would happen? Would there not be outrage? Yeah. So let's have some sensitivity, if I can apply some, for Ireland. But Conor hasn't seemed all that offended by what he's done.
No.
And then Conor picked up the Irish flag the other day in Toronto, and he threw it, but I think he was trying to say he desecrated our flag, so I didn't even want to touch it. You know, like he's ruined this one, I'm going to throw it.
Right.
Okay, but just for fairness, trust me, be sensitive to the country of Ireland.
Yes.
I don't know. That's you might be crossing that line. I'm not saying it's bad as racist lines, but it could be pretty bad. So then Floyd opens up by saying, I don't smell victory, I smell a B. And here we went again. And I saw one of the bloggers this morning had tried to count the number of times that Floyd has called Conor the B word over the 3 sessions. And I think it got to 112. These are public references. And remember, he started it the first day, and I was kind of shocked that Floyd went there right away, right out of his mouth. He says, I'm going to knock this B out. Okay, so just for the record, I think Conor waited for Floyd to kind of set the ground rules, and that was there was no rule. Okay, so we're going to
Because Conor didn't understand the format. He thought he was just going to go up there, hey, I'm Conor McGregor, enjoy the fight, boom. And once he saw Floyd, what Floyd did, then he like, okay, Toronto, it's my turn.
Okay. Next, Floyd yells, Form Voltron, Transformers reference. And all of a sudden, his bodyguards or his goons, they all gang up around Conor and they rough him up and get physical with him. And Floyd ducks out from the fray, the scrum, and starts flitting around the stage and starts shadow boxing. This is exactly what I don't like about him. Well, why aren't you in the middle of it?
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, so you want your big 250-pounders to go up and rough up the 150-pounder? Really?
That's
tough? Is that tough?
When you the guy, you always have 4 guys on
Oh.
standby in a gassed-up Yugo, ready to go see somebody if you call for 'em.
Wow.
That's tough.
That's a tough guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, and I'm scared.
Oh, hold on.
I'm scared.
The baddest man on the planet?
Really? That's the
Not
baddest
the baddest man on the planet.
You know what? The baddest man on the planet was sitting in the middle of it, and I don't think he was fazed by it.
Oh, yeah, he was fazed.
I don't think so.
Send for it.
And I wonder if anybody took any shots in the middle of that. I don't know. Could have happened. But
Floyd back in the background. Shadow boxing on the radio.
all right. Now, in all seriousness.
Yep.
Again, I don't want to make too much of this, but it just offends my sensibilities. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has a history of domestic abuse.
Correct.
Joy brought it up yesterday, and we talked about it at some length. 7 times he was accused of domestic abuse, and 1 time he was convicted and went to jail for it. So now he owns a strip club in Las Vegas called The Girl Collection. That makes me wince. And he often posts pictures of scantily clad strippers on his Instagram as advertising, I guess, for the strip club. And then all of a sudden, he's flaunting making it rain by throwing, obviously, $1 bills at Conor. You thought it was funny. I got to tell you, given his history, I cringe. I just cringe. I don't think it's all that cute. In the end, I just can't say, wow, you got him with that one, because you're kind of getting yourself with that one. You're putting yourself front and center and reminding us all, you have a history there too. Right. So I don't know. I don't know if it really works for me. Again, clever goes to crude, you know, like it's somewhere where you're losing me a little bit. There's a line, and then there's this other line, and it felt like both of them are crossing the wrong line there. Even though, again, I can't apply domestic abuse sensitivity exactly to pre-fight hype, somewhat staged hype, but that's just me. And so the more I thought about it this morning, between that and Form Voltron and so many B words and the Irish flag, then I finally said, you know what? I'm sorry, I got to call it a draw. I'm disqualifying both fighters because I think they were just reaching and reaching and reaching until they both went out of bounds. I will give you this. Conor went a little farther out of bounds than Floyd did, but I still think Floyd was going out of bounds too. That's just me. Gut feeling.
This is what I admire so much about comedians, because a lot of them, when they tour, they have to do a stick or a set every single night. Sometimes they do 2 sets. And a lot of times, if you're really popular, people have seen you and heard you before. So to get up and do what you do, night in, night out, over and over again, it gets very difficult, and they're professionals. So you're talking about 2 guys, and yeah, Conor McGregor is great at trash talking, but he's not a better trash talker than he is a fighter. He's a fighter. So now you're asking him to do something. Now, if you notice, like when he went to New York the first time in the fight, oh, it was unbelievable. And then he had another press conference afterwards.
He did.
But think about it, Skip. You're taking these gentlemen and you're putting them in an unfamiliar environment. Not that the press conference are unfamiliar. It's the time in which they have to do them day after day after day.
Well, the press conferences are a bit unfamiliar, too. They're not traditional format.
Right.
You're usually sitting there with a microphone and reporters are asking you questions.
Right.
You're asking them to perform.
You are. That's true.
And they're trying to sell this as the biggest, best combat fight of all time. They're trying to break the record. And so I get it, Skip, and they're not comedians, so it gets a little hard to come up with new material. Because I can assure you, Skip, for the most part, if there were 20,000 people, 19,000 had seen the LA press conference, the Toronto press conference, and they had heard it.
I would
agree. So how do you impress them? How do you come up with some new original material? But my thing is, Skip, and I want people to please stop saying, I don't see color. Because how do you get to the stop sign? When do you know when to go at a green light?
No, I agree.
It's not what you see.
Completely with you.
It's the response you give once you see the color. That's the issue. It's not that you see black or white or red or green.
And again, gut feeling. Is Conor McGregor racist? I don't know for sure. He well might be. He just well might be. These might all be indications he is racist. I just don't know for sure.
Skip, if you listen to the thing that he said behind stage with the Jimmy Kimmel guy.
I agree.
It was his partner that
Somebody yelled it.
The one with the dancing monkeys. Now, there were no monkeys in Rocky.
No.
It was black men in the gym, which Apollo Creed took Rocky and said, I used to train here.
It's getting into very dangerous.
Yes.
And it's because it's not traditionally how you do a press conference. If they had done one of these hype performances, then fine, because then you just do it, you blow it all out, and you don't have to cross the line.
You know what?
Doing it over and over and over again, it's just going to continue to snowball.
If Conor McGregor is a blatant racist, it just might sell more pay-per-views. It might.
It might.
No mercy. Before we move into the next topic, I want to bring in Skip and Shannon to tell you about a great offer for our listeners from Saks Underwear Company.
Hey guys, you may think all underwear is created equal. Well then, you haven't tried Saks underwear. Stop putting up with an uncomfortable pair you'll end up throwing out in a few months. Go with the quality and comfort offered by Saks. Whether you're traveling or working out or going head-to-head with an NFL Hall of Famer on TV every morning, Saks underwear has what you need to stay cool and comfortable. Take it from a former Super Bowl champ.
Comfort is very important when you work out. You don't want something too snug. You don't want something too loose. You want something that will absorb the moisture, but you feel comfortable in it. And the more comfortable you are when you work out, I believe the longer you will work out. And that's the most important thing. So I am glad I got an opportunity to try Saks Underwear Company, and they're working great for me.
Outside Magazine just had an article about how Saks has revolutionized underwear the same way Gore-Tex revolutionized jackets. And it's true. Saks has taken something we all need and made it better. Quality, support, and comfort. Everything you need. We want you to try Saks underwear with our special limited time deal. Go to our URL, saksunderwear.com/undisputed, and you'll get 20% off your first purchase. Pick up a few pairs. That's Saks with 2 X's, SAXX. Underwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase.
Thanks, guys. That's saksunderwear.com/undisputed for 20% off your first purchase. That's Saks with 2 X's. One more time, that's saksunderwear.com/undisputed. Now back to the show. No mercy. Lonzo Ball had his second triple-double in Summer League last night against the Cavs. He finished with 16 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. And for the second straight game, Lonzo did not wear big baller brand shoes. Last night, he went with James Harden's Adidas shoes. Back on Wednesday, Lonzo wore Kobe's Nike shoes. Shannon, what's going on here?
What's going on here is he's showing the major shoe brands what they're missing out on. Skip, I believe maybe his dad tried to overprice him. And the shoe manufacturer, the big three, Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas, probably said, nah, we don't believe he's going to be worth that. So what does he do, Skip? He starts out in the big baller brand. Nice, you know, the Laker colorways. He goes to the Mambas, 36 points. Like, oh, Nike, whoa, okay. Now he follows that up. He misses the next game, follows that up with the James Harden's Adidas. Triple dub. Whoa. Now, I would not be surprised if he comes out the next game or the game after that in some Under Armour Steph Curry.
I would agree.
And so now,
maybe Saturday.
Because think about what we're talking about, Skip. Almost as much as his performance, we're talking about what he's wearing. And that's what shoe manufacturers love. That's what these big three, they love. They talking about what he's wearing. Ooh, hold on. Now, LeVar Ball might be on to something. LeVar, we're not going to give you any control of this, but we might be willing to up the ante to somewhere, say, around 8 to 12, 15 million instead of that 5 that we had on the table to begin with. Skip, I don't even want to talk about his performances because, first of all, it's Summer League, and I don't put no – because if I'm going to look at his performance and say, oh, he's playing unbelievable, I got to talk about he's shooting 35% from the field. He's shooting 20% from the free throw line. I mean, from the three-point line. He's averaging 5 turnovers a game. So if I'm going to look at what he's doing, I also got to look at what he's not doing. So I'm just going to look at the shoes and why he's doing what he's doing, talking about independent. I mean, think about it, Skip. That doesn't even sound right, does it? I know what y'all doing, LeVar. I know what you're doing, LeVar. And it's ingenious.
Think so?
I think so, because you and I talking about it. And when they show, what are they talking about, Skip? They show, what do they show people, the whole clip of people, what they're wearing on their feet? You don't see them doing no close-up on no little bronze or no Steph Curry's during a game.
Nope.
But they're doing this for this young man, and Nike love it. Adidas love it. And I would not be surprised in the next month or two, Lonzo Ball signs with one of the big three shoes.
You think so?
I do.
I will give you this. The story of the night in the Summer League wasn't even another triple-double from Lonzo.
Nope.
It's got to be the shoes, right? It's got to be the shoes. It is the shoes. Wow. ESPN was just fixated on the shoes. Reports from Cassidy Hubbard on the shoes. Way to go. Because I was fascinated. I was rapt, man. I'm there. What's up with this? And I have to assume he's, as you say, auditioning for the various companies. And I'm going to have to guess that Saturday he's going to come out in Steph's. Under Armour. That'd be the next one up, right?
Yep.
And obviously it even opened the door for J.J. Watt, who's a Reebok man, has a new sneaker coming out, the JJ2, and he tweeted $400 less than some shoes on the market. Wonder what those shoes are. And 100% more effective. I don't know about that, but he's open to say that. And then a second tweet, and I actually wear them, from J.J. Watt about JJ2s. So I must conclude this, and I think you would agree, if in fact Lonzo had worn his ZO2s for both of his last two triple-doubles, that would help market those, right?
Yes.
I would think so.
Absolutely.
And now you have discouraged the purchases of ZO2s, right?
Yep.
So have you given up on ZO2s? Have you said
Maybe that was his plan all along.
Maybe. Now, that would be really shrewd. That'd be
Maybe that was his plan all along, was to say, I'm going to wear this, but let me show you what you're missing out on in these, or that. Like, oh, hold on. Okay, LeVar, let's talk about this. What do you say? I know we came to you like 3-4 million.
I agree with you. That's happening right now.
What do we give you, 8 to 20? Yeah.
Up. Yep. And by the way, there was one of the top Nike executives was there when LeBron was there.
Correct.
2 nights
ago.
And right on schedule, he's wearing the Nike.
And think about it. You look at it. J.J. Watt probably has what, 2 million followers. With J.J. Watt, you doing what LeVar wants you to do.
Yep.
You get it's everybody know who has the $500 shoe.
So I would say, I want to say, I pity the suckers who are already plunked down the, what is it, $500?
$500.
Yeah.
I want a refund.
You didn't do it yet, though.
I did.
Did you already?
Yeah, it'll bill my credit card.
Whew. Wow. But you're not a sucker because you would have a collector's item, right?
I mean, if he's the player that you think he is, they're gonna be a heck of a collector's item.
That's what I'm saying, right? He is going to be that guy, that player. I'm going to say it one more time, and I've already seen it in Summer League. You know, as meager as this competition is, as misleading as it can be, his strength is greater than anybody else's strength. What he does greatest, he does better than what anybody else does best.
Right.
Because I love what I see from Jason Tatum or even Dennis Smith Jr., but you can go find those guys. There aren't a whole lot of them, but there's some of them out there. This is once-a-generation passing talent. And I'm with you, too many turnovers so far, in part because his teammates aren't ready for the passes, in part because he's trying to do things he's going to learn. You just can't do that.
Right.
And I'm with you. The three-point shooting is horrendous at 19%, but he's a 41% shooter at UCLA last year, and I promise you he's just in a slump right now. That will become a strength of his, will be his three-point shooting. But the passing is just breathtaking to me because it's a gift. And LeVar didn't give it to him. He didn't teach him, coach him to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, you keep talking about that three, Skip, but he's shooting 35% from non-three. And that's not good.
Starting to come alive, though. And that up and under, that lefty up and
yeah,
under.
that was a nice move.
It was pretty sweet.
And I think his assist total will be high because he's going to have finishers. I mean, Julius Randle looks great. Brandon Ingram is a
and remember, he didn't have Brandon last night, so there are more assists there for him.
Yeah.
And yet, the passes, he'll have 5 a night where I'll say.
Especially those long outlets. Yeah. The long outlets with such touch.
How did you do that? How did you execute that?
where only his guy can get it, and the guy, like one step and he's dunking, or it's one step and he's laying the ball up, but he's throwing the ball from 65, 70 feet on the other end.
And I still say at almost 6'7", he can average double-digit rebounds. He can. So could he be the next candidate to average a triple-double for a season? I'm talking about 5 years from now when he grows up and figures it all out.
Right.
You better believe he could. Now, it'd be Jason Kidd triple-doubles.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the teens,
Right.
averaging points.
Yeah, it's not going to be
Russ's 30s
Right.
plus. But he could average a triple-double because he can get the rebounds. And once he gets the rebounds, and as Luke Walton said on ESPN, he's already getting texts from all of his veteran players. We can't wait to get out and run with this kid because it's going to be a blast for them and for us.
That's the thing about playing. It's like playing with a great quarterback. You know, if you get open, he's going to put the football in a position where you can catch it, and not only just catch it and fall down, Skip. He's going to put it in position where you can catch and do something with it.
Yep.
And that's what he does. He gives them a great opportunity to not only just catch the ball, but catch it and lay it in or dunk it.
And you want to talk about too good to be true? So his father spoke it into existence that he would become a Laker. It's like a 1,000,000,000 shot. You know, it just happened. It worked. And his father is one of the biggest personalities I've ever been around. I think you've ever been around. And now he's going to be mentored by the greatest point guard in NBA history who, for me, has the biggest charisma and the best personality of any athlete I've ever encountered. And I've encountered a whole bunch of professional athletes or college athletes. Magic is at the top of my list. So over one shoulder is LeVar, and over the other shoulder, the right shoulder, is Magic Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson. So you're going to be mentored and sort of propped up by these two huge personalities, which will start to bring your personality out.
Right.
He's a little stoic for me, for my taste right now, but I think it's in there. He did have a good line at the end of his ESPN interview. Stay tuned. You know, like for Saturday.
Right.
See what I wear then. Well, he got that from LeVar. LeVar did teach him that.
Yeah. Magic is special. I remember the first time I met Magic. He has a way of making you feel like he's known you for 20 years. He just makes you feel comfortable, and you almost forget that you're talking to Magic Johnson. He makes you feel like you're talking to your homeboy. And then when you realize, like, that was Magic.
He's the most humble in his way and accessible superstar I've ever been around.
He is.
Because right away, you're just like this. You just connect. He is very special. Lonzo's going to be special on the court because he's in a special situation as the new face of Laker Nation that has been dormant for a few years now, right?
Yep.
And what a beautiful thing. And that's why I'm sure as we speak, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, they're having discussions. Well, wait a second, did we underestimate this? Because now they're showing you what you missed.
Yeah.
Why you should maybe come back to the negotiating table for this.
Yeah, Phil Knight probably said, hey, guys, y'all circle back with Lonzo.
Let's take a second look at this. Well, he was unproven before, but he's showing everybody what the buzz is about now.
Yep.
No mercy. If you're a NASCAR fan, there's a new podcast for you to subscribe to, Heritage Road, the podcast that drives you down memory lane, takes you under the hood, and gets you behind the wheel of America's favorite racing competition. They talk to the hardworking drivers, crewmen, and fans that make NASCAR possible then and now. From NASCAR royalty Bobby Allison to the broadcasters that brought you racing in homes around the country, they've got all the stories you've probably never heard before. Hosted by the voice of Texas Motor Speedway, Rich Phillips, brought to you by Busch, the beer that has supported racing since 1979. Subscribe to Heritage Road today for free wherever you listen to podcasts. No mercy. Next up, Tim Tebow hit a walk-off home run last night.
He
for
did?
The Class A St. Lucie Mets.
Whoa.
He now has an 11-game hitting streak and is hitting .327 with 3 homers since being promoted last month. You heard that, Shannon?
Skip.
I had something in my throat.
Skip, are you surprised by Tebow's performance?
I am obviously not surprised by Tim Tebow's
Skip.
performance. He was recently promoted to high A ball
for no reason.
Stiffer competition. And as usual, he has risen to that occasion. 16 games, 49 at-bats. That's a fairly large sample size. Batting .327 with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, but .421 on base, that's highly impressive. And on base plus slugging, even more impressive at .972, almost 1,000. And now a walk-off homer, another clutch late play, just as we saw again and again and again and again and again for your Denver Broncos in 2011 as he took a 1-4 team dead in the water all the way back to a division championship and a home playoff win over Ben Roethlisberger's Pittsburgh Steelers. As we said on the old show, all he does is win. And he won another game last night. I'm going to remind you, he had not played organized competitive baseball since his junior year of high school. That was a long time ago because he's 29 years of age now. And I think he's starting to figure it back out pretty quickly because I reminded you at the end of the Arizona Fall League, which was even stiffer competition than this high A-ball competition, last 11 games, he went 9 for 32. That was 281 with 8 walks, which gave him an on-base of 425. So he is getting on base. He has a very sharp eye and much plate discipline. And he hit the walk-off oppo. He went opposite field. He hit the ball where it was pitched, so he's playing the game the right way. And to me, he's already proven to be a better minor league baseball player than Michael Jordan was or Russell Wilson was. Russell was a very good second baseman, but neither Michael nor Russell could hit the way Tim Tebow can hit. So I believe that probably by August he'll be promoted to AA, which is another big jump in competition. And I will not be surprised if by somewhere in September he is called up to the New York Mets, who are now obviously out of the division race because their pitching staff was decimated. And what better time and spot, you can call it a sideshow if you want, but you can see how Tim Tebow would fare against the best when the lights are brightest and the audience is greatest.
I saw it.
Huh?
Against Max Scherzer. I saw what he did.
Oh, okay. Well,
I saw what he did
we'll
against
see.
me. I saw what he did in spring training.
He's just trying to refigure it all back out. And I told you, if you just give him time, give him one long summer in minor league baseball, he'll start to get
enough
a hold
already,
of it.
Skip.
Yeah, and he's getting a hold of it just the way he got a hold of that last pitch.
I love how you mentioned, he's hitting 321, 421 on base percentage. He got an 11-game hitting streak.
Wait, did I make those stats?
Yeah, you made them.
They're numbers, they're real.
But you failed to mention what he had did at the lower level. Why did you fail to mention that when he was hitting 230?
Because
when he had 69 strikeouts.
Sandy Alderson said we saw enough from him, some flashes of getting a hold of it that we're going to promote him.
Sandy Alderson also said we did this as a publicity stunt. We also did this as a marketing ploy. You failed to mention that.
Was part of it.
Yeah, a big part of it.
I just said it could be a sideshow if you call him up in September. But I like to see how he fares. Because I think he might hit a walk-off for the Mets in September. You just watch.
Hold on. Is Tim Tebow the first person to hit a walk-off home run this year in Class A? No, probably not.
So
what are we talking about here?
We're talking about a guy who hadn't played since he was 17.
It's like somebody doing 4 backflips in the circus. That's not the Olympics. What have you actually done? It's like graduating with an engineering degree from junior college. That's not MIT.
This is professional baseball.
Hold up. Was that the World Series?
There's a lot of high draft picks in there.
Was that the World Series? Bottom of the ninth.
Obviously not.
What about to clinch the pennant? So what are we talking about, Skip?
We're talking about a guy who had not played since he was 17 years old.
Yeah. I don't want to hear.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Nope, he's eclipsed him. Russell Wilson, what a great quarterback he's become. Eclipsed him in minor league baseball. How do you explain it, Shannon? You can't.
What?
You know why? All he does is win.
Skip.
He's just one of those big stud athletes who's...
Stop it! He is not an athlete.
Oh, he's not an athlete.
Stiffer than a fence post. And I keep telling you every single time, even an alley cat will find a whole chicken in the trash. So even the greatest chef will burn something and throw it away.
Tim Tebow is an alley cat.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and he's not an athlete. Remember that last-second run against Rex Ryan's Jets on Thursday Night Football for your Denver Broncos? Remember? Safety took a little bit of a bad angle on the blitz.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, a little bit.
There he went. Boom, he's gone. He's gone. He won the game again.
They come with a bomb blitz, and you're supposed to rush inside out. He's a left-handed quarterback. You don't let him get outside of you. And what does the guy do? He takes a beeline to his upfield wrong shoulder, and down out the sideline he goes.
All he does is win.
Skip.
Somehow, someway, he just makes another play.
But you failed to gloss over how the pitcher said when he had his little pro workout day that he told him what was coming. Okay. So it's faux. It's fake.
Yeah, the first pitcher did not tell him what was coming, and he was making good contact off that pitcher.
No.
And by the way, Joy and I were there, and we saw batting practice. Again, it's just batting practice like we saw Aaron Judge the other night. That was even less than batting practice on pitching speed. And what did we see, Joy? We saw him jack balls over the USC scoreboard over the scoreboard. They were monster crushers. Maybe not Aaron Judge crushers.
Skip, first of all, he should not even be here. He got promoted. It's like I get all F's in class, and I still pass the class with an A. He got promoted not deserving it.
Well, what did you do to get the A?
Huh?
What did you do?
They just gave it to me because they liked me. Because I was Shannon.
Because you were Shannon.
Yeah. Skip,
here's what you completely underestimate the intangible package. Wait a second. The force of nature intangibly that is Tim Tebow. So if you put him up in competition, he'll rise to the occasion. If you put him in Double-A, I'll bet you his stats will improve in Double-A. And if you give him a shot with the Mets, I would not bet against him.
Okay. You say he rises to the occasion. Okay. What happened when he went to the Jets? Okay, you gonna say Rex Ryan didn't give him a fair shake?
Well, he didn't.
Okay, what happened when he went to Philly? He didn't rise to the occasion.
Wait a second, I thought he played very well for
I was
Philly.
on your show and I told you he was not going to make it.
I thought he played very well.
Well, I'm telling you what I thought.
You know what? They decided too big a sideshow, too big a locker room distraction.
And the very coach that traded up in the draft, traded some good old picks, first and the following year to move up to select this young man, was the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. Why didn't he rise to competition?
Psychological mess. He'd gone to 4 quarterback gurus trying to change a throwing motion that he never should have tampered with.
You mean to tell me a great athlete can't pick it up? Hold on, wait a minute. Now, I'm missing something, Joey Taylor. Maybe you can help me because you was over there key and co-signing what Skip said. You mean to tell me a guy that's so immensely talented, one of the all-time great athletes of all time, and he can't pick up a throwing motion of throwing the football? Oh, my...
Boy, he threw a good pass in overtime against the Pittsburgh Steelers in your stadium where you used to roll,
I'm
man.
glad. You see what I do? And that's what I do. I open the door, then I close it behind you. Tell me the best pass Tom Brady. Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
Tell me the best.
They're coming?
No, they're coming. No, stop it.
Wait, there it is.
Stop it.
Wait, hold on. Wait, there it is.
No.
Demaryius Thomas, he's loose.
I can't believe you,
Wait,
Healy.
he's loose. Look, the ball's right on the money.
This is
on the money. This is under pressure for all the marbles.
I promise you, Chris Healy.
He's gone.
Our producer, Chris Healy, is on block.
I'm out of my mind. I'm on the
changing
floor.
my number.
I'm rolling in my living room in New York City. I'm saying, thank you, Tim Tebow.
Think about this, Skip. Think about what you just did.
That was something.
You got one.
That was the greatest moment of my career.
You got one play. I can't tell you Tom Brady's best throw.
Okay,
I
I didn't
can't
ever
tell
say
you
it was
Aaron
Tom
Rodgers.
Brady. I never said that.
Skip.
All he does is win. Did he not do that?
All I'm saying.
Who won the
is,
division that year? Help me out.
No.
Your team
You should
did.
be on board. This is your team.
They
This
didn't
is
win.
your team.
The Raiders and
they blew it.
the Raiders and the Chiefs fell apart.
Oh, really?
Skip, they lost their last 4 games and still won the division. You need to stop.
They won the division. You can't take it away. You can't erase it. You can't discredit it. They went from 1-4 to the AFC West Championship, and they beat Ben Roethlisberger in a home playoff game.
What happened the last regular season game against the Chiefs when he threw for 10 yards on 4 completions?
It was over. They were going to be the division champs. It was over. They got it.
Exactly. Lost their last 4.
They had a home playoff
All I'm
game.
saying is, Skip.
How many
Skip.
quarterbacks could take a team from 1-4?
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
Tom Brady took one to the Super Bowl.
That's
Okay.
one and only
Tom Brady took one to the Super Bowl.
Greatest quarterback in history.
So you say who could do it? I just told you Tom Brady.
All right. So there's one. I'll give you one.
I'm just trying to figure out why an all-time great athlete cannot find a way to throw the football correctly. That's what I can't understand. I'm just so marginal. Athlete. And I was able to switch
Help me out
positions.
here. Mr. Sharpe.
Yeah, I'm going to help you out. That's what I do.
Statistical wonder that you and Steve Owens, your puppeteer,
Stop it. I got Dustin today.
Dustin today. Who suddenly led the National Football League in rushing that year in 2011? Who led the whole league in rushing from 1-4 to leading the league in rushing?
The Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. Who did that? Tim Tebow. Ride and decide, step back and throw it. I never said he was the greatest thrower, but listen, last 5 minutes of games that year, all that regular season, he led the NFL in QBR over the last 5 minutes because when it's time to be accurate, he gets real accurate.
First of all, Skip,
when it's time to hit a walk-off, he hits a walk-off.
Hold on. I'm not going to allow you to poop on the floor for 55 minutes and then clean it up and tell me what a great job you did.
It works.
He stuck it up the first 55 minutes.
It works.
And then you want me to award him? He was the reason we were behind.
W. Is that all that matters?
No.
Winning is all that matters to me.
No.
Oh, yes,
no.
yes,
I'm trying to figure out how a guy with 69 strikeouts, batting .231, is able to get promoted.
Well,
because he hits walk-off homers.
Yeah, he just did it. Wait, are you arguing? Are you saying these numbers are a lie? 327? 421 on base? That's really high.
That 231 and 69 strikeouts wasn't a lie either.
I mean, 421 on base, that's getting into Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth territory.
Maybe he just needed tougher competition.
You know what, Skip?
He rises
to the occasion.
Chris Healy, you on my Chris, I'm blocking you. You on block.
Block?
Yep.
Well, that'd be the first person you blocked in your life.
I'm blocking you too.
No, I'm talking about it through your whole football career. You never blocked anybody.
You heard what Stink said.
Huh? You were okay.
You didn't get enough credit for your blocking.
Whoa. I guarantee you I blocked for more 1,000-yard rushes than somebody I know.
Who?
82 with the star on his helmet.
More 1,000-yard rushers? That's starting to get close.
88.
Huh?
For the Chiefs.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go look them up. All the guys in the hall see who blocked for the most 1,000-yard rushes.
Is that all you got?
Your boy.
Is that all
Your boy.
No mercy. Pro Football Focus ranked Aaron Rodgers as the best player to start a franchise with in the NFL. The 33-year-old led the NFL with 40 touchdown passes last season. Behind Rodgers on the list were all quarterbacks in their 20s, including Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. Shannon, do you agree with Rodgers?
I absolutely agree. I don't even let you finish, Joy. Because anytime he on the list of something, it's right. So much right can never be wrong. If I'm starting a franchise today, I want that guy. Because the eye test. Now, Skip Bayless told me, said, look, the QBR, I love that stat, and I love Vegas, but I'm an eye test guy. Had LASIK surgery about 5 years ago. I see great. I'm an eye test guy, too. And my eyes tell me that's a bad rascal. I love that bad. Oh!
Do you have those pajamas yet?
No!
You need to get Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Does he have pajamas? I feel like he has like a sweater line.
I mean, I got a heavyweight belt when you discount double check, folks. He did a lot in Cowboy Stadium, Skip. Skip, you know it's true, Skip. I get it. Tom Brady, but even though Tom Brady might be 40 years of age, I would still take him number 2. Even though he might only have 1 to 2 years, I believe in one of those 1 to 2 years, he's still probably good enough to get you to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
With that being said, Skip, not only am I eye test guy, you should have placed a little bit more value. Say, you know what? That guy that sits across the desk from me, he did play. He was all right. He studied a lot of film, played with some great quarterbacks, played with some good ones too. So I'm gonna take his word. He should know a little bit. He watched a lot of film. Like my guy Floyd Senior. That guy. If you want to start a franchise, Skip, if you want to start a franchise and you want your franchise to be successful, Woo! Look at got both. I don't know what that picture was right there, but something good happened. I don't know what that picture was right there.
It might have been 3rd and 22 or whatever.
But when you see him do this, normally he look at the sideline. Normally he looks at the sideline. When he throw a touchdown, he look at the sideline like, I told you I was going to get this one. Ooh, that's a bad. Ooh. Number 1, you notice everybody keeps saying the same thing, Skip. If you're starting a franchise, he's number 1. The best quarterback in the NFL. We see a lot of people come sit up at this desk, and they say, I won't minimize what Tom has done. He's unbelievable. But Aaron Rodgers is the best.
There's a lot of blind leading the blind on this show.
So much wrong. So much right, Skip, can never be wrong. You know that.
By the way, just for the record, many of the greatest team builders now in the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball didn't play the game above high school. It's just the way of the world. It's happening right before your very eyes, using the eye test. It's all about these numbers and these gut feelings and these different... It's a new view that they have of their sport, so I just throw that out. But this whole concept is so offensive to me because it is so insulting to the greatest quarterback ever. Because if Tom Brady had shown some age last year, just a little glimmer, a little just a little flinch of age somewhere along the line?
He did in the first 3 quarters of the Super Bowl.
Oh, did he?
You asked if he showed a little slight sign of glimmer.
I saw the hottest defense in the NFL, stick it to him, take it to him. It's what I saw. And then I saw the greatest fourth quarter in overtime I've ever seen in a Super Bowl.
The only one you've ever seen in the Super Bowl, Skip Bayless.
Mm-hmm. So if Tom Brady had shown over the long season last year some decline, I would go right with you. I'd say go with the 33-year-old Aaron Rodgers to start your team. But way down on this list that we're discussing, what is it, Pro Football Focus?
Yes. Yep.
Way down at number 11 on this list is Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever. So you have to go 11 deep in their draft before somebody says, I'd start my team with Tom Brady. 11 deep? It should be none deep. It should be one and only Tom Brady.
He's 40, Skip.
Do you realize that by their very own system, Pro Football Focus, it's called the Edge, with which they grade quarterbacks, that Tom Brady last year in 2016 had the best single season under this system of grading that they've had in their 10 years of existence. Mm-hmm. So they started in 06. So it's even better than the great record-setting 07 that Tom Brady had was Tom Brady last year. Again, he missed the first 4 games. Mm-hmm. But for 12 games, he ranked number 1 on their own system of grading. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's pretty impressive. The best season ever at age 39 with Tom Brady. Who's calling you?
I don't know who it is.
John Elway, maybe?
He might.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about him later.
Tell him to stop calling you about that Tebow slander.
Yeah, that might have been. You know what? I should have answered that, Skip.
So Tom Brady has stated through Mr. Kraft that he wants to play 6 or 7 more years. And I'm going to tell you again, I would not bet against him because with Tom Brady, I'll take him. If you told me he could play 2 more years at this level, I'm going to draft him number 1. I'll take 3. I'll take 4. Heck, I'd definitely take 6 or 7. I'm going to draft him number 1 to start my team because even if I just get him for 2 years, I'm going to have 2 chances to win a Super Bowl better than your 2 chances to win a Super Bowl because he's better than Aaron Rodgers. This is the clutchest quarterback ever. This is the most committed, disciplined, driven quarterback I've ever seen. This is a guy who's shattering the longevity mold with his nutrition and his fitness and his stretching routines. He really doesn't have any hobbies. He plays a little off-season golf. He's obviously committed to his family, but we had the great Charlie Weiss sitting in here the other day, and he said, you've just never been around anybody. This is all he does, eat, sleep, breathe, football. We read the quotes from Bill O'Brien in Houston, and he said, he's hard to coach because it's just 24/7, man. He's always trying to get better. Well, you can't make this up. It's hard to find that intangible package with this much ability and this much longevity and this much poise and accuracy and all the great things that go into making the greatest quarterback. Why wouldn't I want him? He has only been great late in 4 Super Bowls. In the first 2 that he won, he was great late. Then he was great late against Eli in the first Super Bowl because he threw the touchdown pass to Randy Moss that I thought had won it before the luckiest play in Super Bowl history.
Stop it.
And then the last 2, you talk about great late. Those are the 2 greatest fourth quarters played by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. So that's 5 times he's been great late on the biggest stage in the greatest sport in America. Tom Brady. And you're telling me you wouldn't take him number 1? You're going to take a quarterback who, since his single Super Bowl victory, is 5-6 in the postseason, and in those 6 losses, not one time has he thrown for more than 300 yards or 300 or more yards. Really? He's been in the 2s and the 1s?
Can I ask you a question?
Are you kidding me?
Which was a luckier play? The catch by David Tyree or the tuck overturn?
Luckier play?
Yeah.
Well, one was just a bad call. I don't know if it's a lucky play.
Okay.
It's just a bad call.
Okay.
But it was the luckiest play in Super Bowl history was that.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And Eli Manning admitted on our show in Houston it was the luckiest play.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was the catch that Tyree made more lucky than the bad call of the tuck rule? Which was worse or which was greater? So if you said if the catch was the greatest, luckiest play ever, you're going to have to say the tuck rule was the worst of the worst of the worst bad calls
It wasn't worse than that robbery in Lambeau Field.
You know what? I wish I had some water. I wish I had some water.
You know and I know that was
I don't know Jack.
Yeah, you do.
All I know is Pro Football.
I know Dez. That's who I know.
I know Pro Football Focus.
That was a robbery.
Confirmed what I've been trying to tell you and others have been trying to tell you for the last 5 to 7 years. That number 12 in Green Bay, although he's aloof, although he's condescending, although he's dismissive.
He rubs his teammates the wrong way.
But I tell you what he does do. He rubs that football the right way because he get it in the end zone with fewer interceptions than anybody we've ever seen.
Not only is Tom Brady the clutchest quarterback ever, he's the greatest leader at the position we've ever seen, and Aaron's way down that list.
Look, I don't know how much credit because a lot of coaches play with a lot of great quarterbacks play with 2 different head coaches, so we don't know what Tom Brady would do without another. So are you telling me that if Joe Montana, John Elway, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino had Bill Belichick, they would do worse than what Tom Brady's doing? Stop it.
How did Bill Belichick do in Cleveland pre-Tom Brady?
Hell, how has anybody ever done in Cleveland?
Okay, well, he didn't do anything in Cleveland. He had 3 losing seasons in 4 years, and he got fired. And then he had a losing season his first year in New England, and then he lost his opener in New England, and then he lost game 2, or did they come back and win game 2? It was game 2 that obviously Drew Bledsoe got hurt, but Bill was on the hot seat, and I've had assistants on that staff tell me they were all thinking about selling their house. You know, they're going to have to put their house up for sale pretty soon. That's how bad.
Coach Belichick has been out of Cleveland since '95, and hell, they still losing games 22 years later.
What would have happened to Bill Belichick if Drew Bledsoe had stayed healthy that year? I think he gets fired, and then what happens? He goes back to being somebody's coordinator, and he's a really good defensive coordinator.
Well, what happens if Tom Brady had got cut? What happens if the Tuck rule doesn't get overturned? I don't like doing these hypotheticals, but what we know definitively, Pro Football Focus came out with their list if you're starting a franchise, one from scratch.
Well, they just had a draft of all their writers or their editors.
Yeah.
You know, they all went in order. And who are you going to draft? You're going to draft, and it took 11 slots until somebody had the foresight to say, well, wait a second, Tom Brady's still available? I think I'll take Tom Brady.
I don't really, once you get that far down, I don't really like discussing it. I like to discuss like top 3. You know, because like the Olympics, you got the gold, you get the silver, you get the bronze. So I'll discuss that. You get the first.
So Brady shouldn't even be in this discussion.
I told you he should be second. I told you, even though he's 40, I would still take him second. I said that, Skip. What do you want me to do? Put him first? You just
said after 3 you don't want to have the discussion.
Well, I can't talk about it because he's not that high up. I got to skim dog, got to keep flipping pages. I got one. Okay, here you go, Tom Brady.
And then under the why of why that editor-writer selected Tom Brady, he says, well, by our system, he had the greatest single season last year that we've ever graded. Yeah. And he's 11? And what 40 is just a number, unless it's Floyd Mayweather. And then it's,
I love how you try to throw that caveat in there.
Did Floyd have the greatest season ever last year? No, he didn't box last year. Did he have the greatest season ever the year before? No, he didn't. He didn't fight anybody the year before.
He did fight in 2015.
No, he didn't. It's been almost 2 years since he's boxed anybody. Really had something that mattered.
And guess what? It's going to be another 2 years because he ain't about to box somebody now. Because this guy can't box.
No mercy. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting that Ezekiel Elliott is bracing for a short suspension stemming from his domestic violence incident last summer. Reportedly, the investigation is still ongoing. We're joined by Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg. Shannon, I'll start with you. What's your reaction?
I'm shocked, and I'm also disappointed because the proper authorities investigated the Ohio incident and the South Florida incident and came to the determination there were not enough evidence to move forward. And somehow the NFL, which is an entertainment business, thinks they can do a better job than the police forces that were hired to do this investigation and turn whatever they find over to the district attorney. So I'm just disappointed that the NFL this is all about optics. This is all about we're getting tough on domestic violence, and I get it. But you cannot go back and undo what went wrong in 2014. The Ray Rice incident happened, and you effed it up. The Greg Hardy incident happened, and you messed it up. The Adrian Peterson incident, it happened, Skip. You cannot go back and undo that.
Josh Brown.
No. The fans got that one. Because even though they knew he had the incident at the Pro Bowl, that he came in so intoxicated that they had to move his wife and kids to a different hotel. They knew that and they took no action. John Mara, who's the co-owner of the Giants, knew all this information. He said John Brown told me that he had abused his wife, and he was so upset by that, he gave him a 2-year deal for $4 million. That's how upset John Mara, the co-owner of the Giants, was about this domestic abuse that was told to him. I'm just disappointed because I don't want the NFL to get into this kind of a business where they're investigating and they think they have more authority. And I guess you do, because when you sign that dotted line in a contract, you give the commissioner and the NFL a lot of powers over you. But I'm just disappointed, and if I'm Zeke, I'm looking to find me a good lawyer, because there are a lot of them around here. I think I might take I'm taking my case to D. Smith. You know how you spend all that money about Tom Brady and that deflated footballs?
True.
I need you to bring me some of that money, because I'm going to fight this.
I totally agree to a certain extent. It's definitely shocking, but at the same time and in the same breath, I can say I'm not shocked, because the league has gotten it wrong before. We've heard Roger Goodell come out and report, I got it wrong in the Ray Rice incident. However, to your point, you can't go and rewrite what took place.
Right.
You can't undo it. You can't make it better. It is what it is. But moving forward, with everything that has transpired over our league, when it comes to domestic violence, we've seen the No More campaign. You have to stand behind that. You have to show your fans, your sponsors, that you are not going to allow this to be a part of who we are as a league, as a shield, as a member of someone who wears that shield on your uniform, who represents that shield, who we see a young player who's becoming one of the biggest faces in this league. You have to make a stance. And when we see what Roger Goodell and the league, their stance, even against Tom Brady, Deflategate, some of us look at it and say, well, they were trying to make an example out of Tom Brady, and whatever the case may be. The point is, they're strickening up their structure, because there has been too much of this kind of loosey-goosey going on, to where players have been able to get away with so much off the field as far as conduct policy. And what I see is a league who is saying no more, simply no more. Yes, have the authorities done their job? Yes, but as a league, to make sure that they are putting out the best product and promoting what's best for their league and our league, this has to happen. A further investigation. I'm not shocked because of the instances that have taken place.
How could they find out something that the police couldn't?
It's not even about that. I don't even think it's about that for 1 minute. I think it's just to really show their fan base and their sponsors that, look, we're doing everything in our power, even beyond what has already taken place, because the sponsors aren't paying the police. They're not paying Ohio State Police, and they're not invested there. But in this league, that's where they're invested. They want to know, what are you guys going to do about it?
I hear what you're saying. Maybe I'm not objective about what you're saying. I'm obviously, as everyone knows, a Cowboy fan. And in the end, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys has never been more outspoken in defending a player than he has this young man on these charges, or these accusations. They're not charges, they're accusations. He has said again and again, very publicly, there's nothing there. And I've never heard him more outspoken, because that's a pretty strong thing to say publicly if you're the owner of that franchise. It's getting into the Mara territory of you better be careful.
Right.
And Jerry's usually pretty careful about things like this. He doesn't look before he leaps. And to Shannon's point, the authorities in Columbus, Ohio, looked at this hard, said, no, we're out. No charges filed. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, they looked hard, no charges filed. And usually the NFL has followed the lead of the justice system. Let's see what happens, and then we will mete out our punishment in accordance with what they do. So in this case, I'm pretty sure somebody in the league office, somebodies in the league office have decided there was something here. They just know there's something there. They can't really prove it. They just know something happened that was out of bounds. And because, as you point out, they've been shamed so many times in the recent past for underreacting to domestic violence cases, that in this case, they might be overreacting just to show.
Of it.
It's the optics, just to say, we have to step in. And by the way, Ezekiel has not done himself any favors in his time in Dallas, because he has not shown a lot of maturity or contrition, because it's been one little thing after another, such as on St. Patrick's Day up on the rooftop pulling the woman's blouse down. It's just we talk about optics. That's about the worst look you could have, especially when you're under fire here about what might or might not have happened. So, look, Adam Schefter reporting that it might be a game or 2 games. It's just a show of force, just to say, we did something here. We know something's going on. We're just going to, because this man has absolute power, man.
They gave it to him.
Yep, they gave it to him. And again, it's a big deal, because we're talking about, again, it's not a big deal compared to domestic violence, but just on a simple football level, this has potential to be the game of the year on opening Sunday night at Jerry World. Giants, Cowboys.
Yep.
Wow, that's a big deal. If you take him out of that game, it's going to have an impact on that game and maybe on the season.
Skip, can I ask you something? In all 50 states, 0.8 is the limit in which if you register that, you're driving under the influence. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, police stop me. I failed a field sobriety test. I'm playing in the NFL. And I get to the station and I'm 0.06 or 0.07. Police are going to let me go because I'm not intoxicated. You think it'll be appropriate for the NFL to suspend me when I've done nothing wrong? Because that's what they're doing. The proper authorities have said he's done nothing wrong. But now this is why, if it doesn't have to do with the integrity of the league, if it has to do with integrity, Skip, the gambling, the footballs, something like that, Commissioner Goodell, that's your job.
Well, it's a little more murky than that when it comes to domestic violence, because there are situations where they'll settle out of court, but something obviously still happened, or the person accusing drops charges for various reasons. So it's very, I'm with you, but it's very murky.
But let's be fair. There was just a case where a female said 2 black gentlemen harassed her in college. They suspended them, kicked them out of school. She recanted. So where do they go to get back their good name?
Okay, sure. And so she should receive whatever punishment they were going to receive. I'm with you. But those situations are the minority, while the majority is still the other end.
But
this situation is just a little more murky than that.
But I
it's
get
not
it.
as cut and dry as testing your blood alcohol level.
But I'm not ready to jump, and then every time somebody says domestic violence, and I'm not condoning domestic violence, but I'm not ready to get there that says every time someone says it that it's absolute. Because we're going down a slippery slope now.
Absolutely, and I 100% agree with both points that you guys are making. All I'm saying is the league, and yes, they may be doing overboard. They may be going overboard, but I feel that they believe we have to do this because of our past with not getting it right. Bottom line.
Joy, what's your gut feeling on this?
I think Ezekiel Elliott needs to get it together, first of all, because he's not doing himself any favors. Not that he did anything extra here, but everything that you just ran down is obviously on his resume. The bigger issue to me is there's no consistency with punishment.
No.
They need to put together a panel of people. His job is, this is the situation, you guys make the decision, and it's a group of collective, not one minority group, make it diverse and make a decision. That is binding, and that's not happening, because Roger Goodell has all the power, and when one person makes all the decisions, they're going to make the wrong decision from time to time, and it's going to blow back. And there's already been so much with all the things that you just mentioned, and then Deflategate. Fans don't take the punishment seriously anymore, and he's going to have a good case to fight it, because how long has this been going on for?
Yeah, a year and well, they started investigating in 2016. He was a rookie last year, so here we are, 2017, and they're starting to come to some kind of. But if I'm Ezekiel, D. Smith.
Absolutely.
You spent $7-8 million defending deflated footballs. I'm gonna need a little bit of that money because I'm not gonna sit down.
Okay, but you're not going to be able to pull that off in time to avoid the first 2 games suspension. And again, if we're just back to football, just talking purely football, he was obviously a driving force of their 11 straight wins last year in their division championship by 2 games last year. And now you're looking at pulling him out of the first maybe 2 games, which is Giants and then at Denver.
There's a little bit of a right to speedy trial thing going on here, that they can't figure out how to dole out punishment. They can't figure out what's the right punishment. Are they going to under-punish him and then something else comes out? They just get a system.
But as a player, really quick, and you can make a comment, this is when our PA, as players in this league, this is when our PA shows what they're all about and how they are going to stand and represent our players in this league. This is what separates our PA, the NFL PA from the NBA PA, and and MLB. There's too much of this not supporting and really winning for our players and standing up and really coming out as winners and saying we're going to support our players 100% regardless of the situation, especially when there's something like this on the table where we've already come to find out that there's nothing to really look into anymore. This is and DeMar Smith, again, I think he will do a great job because, like you alluded to, if I'm Ezekiel Elliott, I'm already on the phone. Like, look, let's get this done. Handle
They suspend me, Skip. I'm suing the league for irreparable damage and harm done to me. Because once I get suspended, it's almost as I was guilty. Where 2 authorities investigated and said I wasn't. So you're suspending me, you're trying to put guilt on me, and now you're going to label me. I'm suing for irreparable harm because you would have damaged this young man's name.
I got you. Is there still a chance that he gets a 1-game suspension, then he appeals it, and they dismiss the 1 game just so they could make a statement that we tried? You know,
that's a great
possible.
That's
I don't know if he's going to be able. But Skip, here's the thing: if he appeals, guess who he's appealing to? The guys that work for the league. I can't get a speeding ticket and go appeal it to the chief of police. Hell, his officers gave me the ticket. Man, this is.
There's
some bull jive.
There's just no consistency. No mercy. Looks like Jerry Jones is going to be on high alert all weekend. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Check us out the same time next week when Michael Vick joins us at 9:30 Eastern on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.